My name's Kel. Good to see you guys. It's been a while since I've been up here, so I'm glad to be here once again. We are kicking off a brand new series this week about passion. And most of you, when I think of the word passion, I just got to admit, the first thing that comes to mind is the steamy windows in the horror movies. You know, the kids are making out in the back seat, and you got the guy with the claw at the window. No? Okay. Some of you don't think passion that way. I'm a little twisted. It's okay. Steamy windows, we just get all this passion stuff. And when we see the word passion, we just think of all these things that we get excited about. Who's excited about March Madness, right? Bracketology. How's your bracket? I got a picture. Is it not on? There it is. How's it? Is your bracket doing good? I saw on ESPN Friday morning, only one person had a perfect bracket out of over 11 million people. That was just on Friday morning and all the upsets yesterday. So, yeah, people get excited about this kind of stuff. What else do people get excited about? What is it about passion? I mean, we get excited about all kinds of things. What do you get passionate about? Come on, help me out. Christ. Okay, good. Yes. That's a good Sunday school answer. We like that one. Good. All right, what else? What do you get I like that. That's good. What else? Okay. Oh, yeah, about that truth, man. You said that was not true. You get all passionate about that? Yeah. What else? Money. All right. Money is really a good one. I mean, we get passionate about all kinds of things. Do you collect anything? You know, you get passionate about those things. My mom is a precious moments collector. Okay, she loves those things. She gets all passionate about them. You bring her one, or you start talking about one. She gets so excited about them. I'm like, man, these things are weird. These little bug-eyed children. I just like, okay, whatever you say, Mom. Cool. But not my thing, all right? But we get passionate about all kinds of things. All right, come on, think about this. Most of you know me. I'm a comic book kind of guy. Like, I get passionate about that, trading cards, those kinds of things. Some of you are passionate about tools and all that kind of stuff, and you like, check out this new whatever Majigga thing is. And I'm like, yeah, okay, awesome, right? I think of one of my kids' favorite books right now is Monkey with a Tool Belt, and he has like a tool belt with all these made-up tools. And whenever you start talking to me about tools, that's what I think about. I don't know what you're saying. It's not in English to me. I mean, you get passionate about those kinds of things. Some of you get passionate about reading. This is my favorite book. You got to check this out. This is amazing. Some of you are passionate about maybe sewing, like quilts and that kind of stuff. That's cool. Some of you are passionate about working out, right? Is that your thing? You know, what's your thing? Baseball, maybe. Maybe it's your cause, your pet cause. If only everyone would just get on board for this cause, or get on board with my political party. Everything would be great. We would just get really passionate about all these kinds of things. Basically, to answer the question, the first blank on your thing, what is passion? It's pretty much anything that you can get excited about, you get focused on, you get dedicated on, or that you begin to pursue. And in reference to Jesus here today, we're going to talk specifically about what Jesus pursues, about his passion. And when we talk about the passion of Jesus or the passion of Christ, we're specifically talking about the Easter story. All right? Did you know that Easter is only 2 weeks away? So you're like, I heard that. Like, oh, yeah, it's coming. It's right around the corner. Easter's coming. I mean, Easter is just an amazing time in the life of the church. And we begin to talk about this passion, this passion of Christ, the passion narrative. Maybe you've heard of the passion play. We hear that word thrown around a lot of times, and a lot of times we don't really understand exactly what we're talking about in the context of church and in the context of Jesus. So basically, the passion, when we say that Jesus is passion, we're talking about the Easter story. We're talking about his consuming desire to rescue us, to fulfill his plan, to restore us to God. That's what we're talking about when we say Jesus. We're talking about his passion. There's no step in the journey to the cross that Jesus could have just said, never mind, I'm out. I'm not going to do it. At any point, he could have said, I'm done. I'm not doing this. There's nothing about it. But we see continually from point A to point B to point C, just as he moves continually through the story of him moving to the cross, that he continues to take those steps, continues to move towards that great sacrifice. And he does it because he's passionate about rescuing us. Passionate about rescuing us. So that ultimately he gets all the glory for that. It's his drive, his pursuit, his whole reason for coming to earth was to rescue his creation. From the beginning of time, he'd set forth this great rescue plan. And all of his life had been leading to the point where he would die on a cross so that we could be restored to him. That's his passion. Does that make sense? Some of you get passionate. There's things in your life you get passionate about. The calling in your life. Man, I got nothing. This is what I'm going to do. There's nothing that could keep me from that. For me, it's this. It's doing what I'm doing right now is my passion. I love this. I love to be able to get in front of groups of people and say, hey, Jesus loves you and he wants to rescue you. Run to him. And if I fail to do that today, you just let me know, right? But I just said it, so I didn't, so therefore I win, right? I did my job, right? Yay! I love to get to do these kinds of things. But for Jesus, his great rescue plan, this is it. This is the story. As we move to Easter, this is the point. This is why we have all the cool stuff happening at Christmas time, to remember that at Easter time, he defeats death. It wasn't there. He didn't come just to gather a lot of people around him. He wasn't in it for large crowds. In fact, he ran off most of the crowds. He told them, yeah, why are you guys here? You just want some food? No food for you, no soup for you, right? And then maybe it wasn't about the fortune either. It's not like, hey, I'm going to get rich and famous over this kind of stuff, because he gave all that stuff away. And he kept telling people, hey, you want to follow me? You haven't got a place to live. You get to sleep with foxes. Huh, yay, that sounds exciting, right? For my kids, it sounds exciting. For me, that's a little bit terrifying. I know. And it's cold, dirty. No, I'm not doing that, all right? And it wasn't about the fame for him. It wasn't, hey, I'm going to be super famous. He's about to self-destruct all of that possible outcome, about being the most famous man in Jerusalem at the time. No, it wasn't about that for him. Jesus' passion was to rescue us, his creation. And what is he rescuing us from? From sin, from death, from the destruction that we have brought on ourselves, from us trying to say, hey, I got this. I'm a good enough God for me, and so I'm going to do fine. And Jesus says, no, you're not. You can never be all that God needs to be. You can never do it on your own. You can never escape what you deserve on your own. You need to be rescued. I must come. I must sacrifice myself so that you can have a relationship with God once again. So that's his passion. It's all about that. From the beginning of time, through creation, through the fall, through the rescue, all of this is about Jesus. This is where he is. So today we're going to pick up. I'm going to show you a little bit about this. In Luke chapter 22, if you have your Bible, you can flip there. If not, it'll be on the screen. In Luke chapter 22, we're picking up right after the Lord's Supper. So if you haven't read that story, go back and read it later. That's your homework for today. Go read the first part of Luke 22. All right? We're in the middle of this passion story. He's moving towards the cross. And Luke chapter 22, verse 24, we'll pick up here. And they just had this great experience with Jesus. Jesus tells them, hey, I love you. And we're having the Passover celebration, which was the big deal celebration of the time. And here's what happens. As soon as they're done with Passover celebration, a dispute also arose among them as to which of them was to be regarded as the greatest. So high-quality religious experience, dispute immediately. I love that. And he said to them, the kings of the Gentiles exercise lordship over them, and those in authority over them are called benefactors. But not so with you. Rather, let the greatest among you become as the youngest, and the leader as one who serves. For who is the greater, one who reclines at table or one who serves? Is it not the one who reclines at table? But I am among you as the one who serves. You are those who have stayed with me in my trials, and I assign to you, as my Father assigned to me, a kingdom, that you may eat and drink at my table in my kingdom and sit on thrones judging the 12 tribes of Israel. So immediately after this great religious experience, the Passover was like the big deal festival. All right? I don't know what your favorite holiday is. All right? Think about it as this. You're going to your favorite holiday, whether it's Thanksgiving, which is right up there for me because you get to eat so much, or Christmas, because you get to be around all your kids and do all the fun stuff with that. Your favorite experience, religious experience, Christmas Eve service, all right? Let's say that's your favorite. Right after that, you leave the Christmas Eve service after having such a cool thing going on, and you start arguing with your siblings on the way out the door. That's exactly what's going on here. It's like, children, come on now. I have kids. My kids squabble constantly. I'm like, man, can you guys just stop for 5 minutes? No, I've got to have it my way. It's going to be there. And there's conflict there. And this argument starts coming out. Who's going to be the greatest? Who's the best? Who's in charge here? Who's going to be the one to lead after Jesus begins to hand out all his earthly kingdom and crowns? And they're like, man, we got this. This is so much. I'm going to be the greatest. You know, you just got that, right? And it's like, Jesus is like, oh, come on. We just talked about sacrifice here. Let me remind you, it's not about who's the greatest. It's about who's the least. It's not about who's in charge. It's about who serves well. It's about service here. It's about being under theirs. Man, a lot of times I think that we come to something like a Sunday morning service and we look at these great religious experiences in our lives. Growing up, man, I grew up in church, and so we go to summer camp. We had Sunday morning church, Sunday night church. We had Wednesday night church. We had Tuesday night visitation. Did you know all that kind of stuff existed? We were at church all the time. It's just one of the things that growing up, that's what our family did. And those experiences, especially something like youth camp or a retreat, were designed to fill us up. And a lot of times we come to church on a Sunday morning and we're thinking, man, if I can just get a little bit today to fill me up, get that cool experience, I'll be good to go for the rest of the week, right? But what inevitably happens? Monday happens. That's exactly right. Like Monday, I got to get up, it's time for work, conflict with the boss, I got to go to school, I got all these projects due, and just things begin to overwhelm us. And we forget. Many of us, our passion for Jesus can be just a mask for us. It's just a disguise for us. We begin to try to fake it as best we can. We come here, oh, brother, it's great, and on the inside you're crying. And I understand that. That stuff happens. We do that. We believe in God. But man, sometimes it just doesn't feel like it connects with us the rest of the week. There's just something about that. And so we live from moment to moment, from experience to experience, trying to keep hold of that little grasp of something. And man, that just doesn't fill us up. We just don't feel like we're good enough, or we're just not connected enough. Or man, if only I could just make it to growth group on Wednesday, or make it to the prayer meeting on Thursday. I just need something else there. And we feel like we are lost. Standing there saying, help me get to the next waypoint. I need your help, right? Just begging, please, I'm lost. Help me. Let me connect. It's really hard for us to maintain our passion for God on our own. And a lot of times we end up feeling guilty about it. Some of us might get depressed about it. Some of us might give up on church altogether and just say, no, I'm not doing that anymore. We just give up. I'm not doing that. But here's the thing that I would like to encourage you with today. One thing. Jesus knows you anyway. Even though you feel like that, he still knows you. He still loves you. He still pursues you. He still has a passion for you. Still. Our feelings don't determine the reality of what Jesus is about. Thank goodness. Because that pepperoni pizza from Friday sure didn't sit well, right? God must not love me. No. But no. How I feel doesn't determine the truth of what Jesus does. Jesus still is passionate about us. Jesus still pursues us. Here's something. Let's see. So the disciples doing all this kind of stuff. I got to be greatest. Jesus corrected him. And here's what he says. Verse 31. He says, Simon, Simon. Now he's talking to Peter. And he's using Peter's first name, his before I called you out name. All right. He says, dude, you've reverted. You're a child again. Simon, Simon. All right. Behold, Satan demanded to have you, that he might sift you like wheat. But I have prayed for you that your faith may not fail. And when you have turned again, strengthen your brothers. Peter said to him, Lord, I am ready to go with you both to prison and to death. I'm the greatest. Right. That's what he's saying. And Jesus said, I tell you, Peter, the rooster will not crow this day until you deny 3 times that you even know me. And Peter's like, whatever. I'm the best, dude. I'm the oldest guy here. I'm obviously in charge, and I speak the most, so I'm obviously the smartest guy in the room. I got this. And a lot of times we come on Sunday morning, we get ourselves filled up, and we say, man, I got this. I'm good. I can do this. All right, here we go. Rah, rah. We get ourselves all pumped. Rah, 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 I got this. All right? But God knows us. He knows what's happening. Heck, he knows what your Monday is going to look like already, even though you may not know it yet. He knows what's coming. He's there for us. So Jesus is trying to help them out. Hey, understand this, guys. As much as you may pump yourself up, I know you. It's like when your mama corrected you before you did something wrong. Mom ever do that to you? For me, we had a station wagon growing up, a yellow station wagon, and there were 3 brothers, all right, myself and my 2 younger brothers, and we would sit on the middle row of the station wagon, and my dad would be driving, and my mom would be in the passenger seat, and for some reason, which I still haven't understood, their idea of family vacation was get in the car and drive for several weeks. It was just insane, in a station wagon, all right, mind you, a yellow station wagon, and when the yellow station wagon would break down, they bought another yellow station wagon. I don't understand. We had like 3 growing up, but anyway, we'd be in the middle seats, and, the long drive, starting to get bored. You're looking out the window, and you're in Central Texas. It looks the same everywhere you look. It's just there, or whatever. And we're like, man, this is boring, so let's play Love Bug, and then you hit your brother every time you see a love bug. It doesn't work very well in Central Texas, apparently. But anyway, you hit your brother, and he hit me, and you get the fights going on. So here's my mom. She understood this. My mom gets this kind of thing. My mom's been starved today. I just realized that. Anyway, she's great. I love my mother. She'd be sitting there, and she'd be talking to my dad, and then all of a sudden she'd say, Kel, stop it. I'm like, what? Don't hit your brother. I'm like, how'd she know? I'm like, right here. I just made a fist, And she'd say, I have eyes on the back of my head. Did Mom ever say that to you? I have eyes on the back of my head. I'm like, no, you don't, Mom. I do. Don't try me. Don't try me. I know. I'm like, whatever. So I'd get a little bit lower in the seat, watching, making sure she's looking out the window, or making sure the headrest was behind her head, that kind of thing. And then I was like, man, now I got to figure it out. Reach over to try to pinch my brother or something, poke him. Kel, don't touch him. I'm like, what the heck? I have eyes in the back of my head, right? I found out later my dad was looking in the rearview mirror, and he would it's time. I didn't catch that until I had my own children. Now I get it. At one point I was so frustrated, I remember one time trying to poke my mom's eyes in the back of her head out, She was like, what the heck? And my dad, don't you ever touch your mom again, that kind of, I'm sorry, I was tired of getting in trouble. But the thing is, just like Mama knows, Jesus knows us, knows when we're straying, knows when the feelings kind of move away, when we begin to think through other things. Man, what if we try this? Jesus knows. And the thing that we have to remember is that no matter what, that passion for us, that passion knows us. He knows us. He knows what we're capable of. He knows exactly what we need. He was involved in creating us. Way back in Genesis chapter 1, it says, then God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the birds of the heavens and over the livestock and over all the earth and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. Male and female, he created them. See, that first part right there, God said, let us make man in our image. That's God talking to Jesus and the Holy Spirit. Right at the very beginning of time, Jesus is there and he knows us. He's involved in creating us. He's involved in the entire process of what's going on there. He's there at creation. So as the creator God, Jesus knows us. And his passion, remember, is to rescue us. So from the beginning, he's known us, knows who we are and what we are all about, and he's still coming to rescue us. And not only does he know us just in a general sense, but he knows us precisely. He knows exactly what's going on with us. Look what he says to Peter, verse 34 in Luke 22. He says, I tell you, Peter, the rooster will not crow this day until you deny 3 times that you know me. This isn't some, hey, Peter, dude, you talk a lot and you're going to deny me at some point. You probably will have a bad day tomorrow, right? I could say that to each of you and look like a really cool prophet. Tomorrow's Monday, it's going to be rough, right? You can just say that, and some of you would be like, that's not prophecy. I already know that, right? But no, what Jesus does to Peter, he says very precisely, before the rooster crows, before sun comes up tomorrow, you're going to deny me. And not just leave me. It's, man, you are turning away from me. You're completely bugging out of my camp. And not only are you going to bug out of my camp once, you're going to do it 3 times before the sun comes up. 3 times. No guessing, no about, no maybe, no probably. Very precise, measurable number. And it's 3. Can you count to 3? Okay, good. Just making sure. All right. 1, 2, 3. We can number that. We can be very sure and measure exactly what that means. Jesus knows us precisely. In John 10, he says, I am the good shepherd. I know my own, and my own know me, just as the Father knows me, and I know the Father, and I lay down my life for the sheep. He is our shepherd. He knows us. And the shepherd, the thing about shepherds back in that day, a lot of times they would name their sheep and be able to call them, and the sheep would respond to their name because they were with them all the time. It's the same kind of thing for us, guys. He knows us. He knows us by name. He knows precisely what's going on in our lives and in our hearts. He knows your hurt. He knows your suffering. He knows your messiness. Right? He knows your failure. He knows when you're relying on religion instead of a relationship. All of us are known by Jesus, and his passion is to rescue us anyway. Can you imagine that kind of a love? Someone knows you just like you are and still is pursuing you? This is a pretty big deal. That's why we celebrate Easter. That's why Easter is such an amazing time. Because Jesus has pursued us and is passionate about us. And we don't deserve it. But all he's doing here is he's looking to bring himself glory. Hebrews 2 says, for it was fitting that he, for whom and by whom all things exist, in bringing many sons to glory, should make the founder of their salvation perfect through suffering. So he says, hey, I got this. I'm going to bring everyone to glory. I'm going to bring all of these people that I called, that I've chosen and that follow me to glory, so that, and that's going to happen through my suffering. I'm choosing this. My passion involves a path that leads to the cross. Jesus knows this, right? He knows where he's going, and he's still doing it. He knows what's in store for him. He knows exactly who you are and what's wrong with you, and he still chooses to pursue you. This is an amazing God, an amazing person here. And the thing is, it's not just some passive knowing you and not some passive pursuit of you either. It's very active. Here, remember what he told Peter before he says that you're going to deny me 3 times? He tells Peter in verses 31 and 32 of Luke again, he says, Simon, Simon, behold, Satan demanded to have you that he might sift you like wheat. But I have prayed for you that your faith may not fail. And when you have turned again, strengthen your brothers. I have prayed for you. He's very active here. Very much we see the activity of his passion. Passion prays. That pursuit prays. That pursuit is looking for us and continuing to pray for us. Prayer is an action. It's not just some boring thing where you sit in a room and be quiet for a while. If that's your interpretation, you should come on Sunday mornings right before church from 10 to 10:30 and come sit in this room and hear passionate prayer. It's an incredible experience. But it's not easy. It is not an easy thing. Prayer is not just something that you just pass, it just happens and you just sit and meditate. That's not what happens here. Passion is activity. I don't know how many of you pray regularly. Hopefully you pray at least every now and then. But to pray in these kinds of situations, to the kinds of prayer that I think that Jesus is doing for us is work. It takes focus. It takes some effort to remember, to recall, to be focused on who God is. He understands it's activity. And Jesus is praying for us right now. Hebrews 7 says, consequently, he is able to save to the uttermost those who draw near to God through him, since he always lives to make intercession for them. Always. He's there. That's his job now. Right? He's come, he's rescued us, he's done everything that he needed to do here. He died, he rose again, and he's ascended into heaven, and now in heaven he is still at work. He's not just waiting for everything to pan out or waiting for the call to come to where he gets to ride his cool horse with his flaming swords. He's like, yeah, I got my sword ready. But in the meantime, he's praying for us, actively praying for us. He is on our behalf saying, Lord, God, help these people. God, help these people. Here's this person and this person. Here's the needs. He's praying for us. Romans 8, it says, who is to condemn? Christ Jesus is the one who died, more than that, who was raised, who is at the right hand of God, who indeed is interceding for us. You know what interceding means? Praying for us. That's his job right now. So he was so passionate to pursue the cross and to pursue resurrection, to pursue us, that he is still pursuing us. That just boggles my mind. It really does. I am a sports card collector, all right? And when I finally get the card that I want, I go stick it in the binder and I don't even really think about it ever again, right? That's not the case here. He's not forgetting about his task once he's accomplished it. He's coming back and pursuing still, ever more so, pursuing us, praying for us that we will come to him, that we be rescued by him. The creator of the universe knows us, and he's praying for us. And he prays not just generic prayers for us, he's praying very specifically for us. Again, it's not just bless all the dear children. It's very much by name. He knows us. He knows exactly what's going on. And he leads him to pray just for us. John 17 says, this is before he even gets into heaven, Jesus is saying this. John 17 says, I do not ask for these only, not just the disciples that are sitting right here, all right, but also for those who will believe in me through their word, that they may all be one, just as you, Father, are in me and I in you, that they also may be in us, so that the world may believe that you have sent me. Man, he's moving towards the cross and he starts praying for us. You see that? Those who will believe. I don't know about you, I believe, all right, I'm in. So he's praying for me here. He's praying that we will know him and that we will be one with him, that we will be rescued by him. That we will just say, I give it. Yeah, we're there. I'm in. He's praying for those who will believe. We get so excited about so many different things. I mean, man, we're looking at moving soon, and we're getting all excited about finding a new house. You know, this is so cool. I can't wait. Exciting. You know, and we look at all these houses, and we got the apps that tell you this house came on the market. I'm like, cool. Look, babe, this is perfect for us. And then it sells the next day. That's just how it works right now. Anyway, okay, it's not that perfect for us, you know. But we get this, and we begin to pursue these things, these passions, and all of these passions in our life can change in an instant. Whether it's your sports team, your TV show, whether it's your politics, your new gadget that's already out of date, I promise, your new gizmo, whatever it is, we get all wound up about so many things. But Jesus is the one that shows us exactly what true passion is. It's that pursuit, steady, focused, determined to rescue us. He knows us, even in our deceitfulness, even in our brokenness, even in our hopes and dreams, and especially in our failures. And he prays for us. He knows specifically what we need. He is called the great high priest. A high priest back in this time was the guy who prayed on behalf of the people, right? That's essentially what his job was. Jesus is that position for us. He prays on behalf of us to rescue us because he knows that we need it. He knows we need us and we need him. So he came to pursue us. We are lost people in need of a rescue. Some of us don't even realize that we're holding the sign and begging on the street corner, right? We just don't even realize what's going on. But because Jesus came, because Jesus died, because he will come again, we no longer have to be lost. By faith, we can accept the gift that he's given us. He says, come to me and I will rescue you. So we can come to him and say, Jesus, rescue me. And the promise there is, yes, I've been waiting for you to say that. I'm there. I want to rescue you. And he wants to rescue us so that we no longer are beggars holding the sign saying we're lost, but we're still beggars. We hold a sign that instead says, life. I now have life because of what Jesus has done for me. So will you take that promise? Will you take hold of Jesus, who wants so much to rescue you, who's done so much to passionately pursue you? Will you take hold of that promise? Yes, Jesus, rescue me. And by faith, he will rescue you. It's no longer lost, but now life. Let me pray. Jesus, thank you that you have rescued us.